Yeah, Shalom Israel.
Shalom.
We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander John YAHANNA. We have been teaching this truth since 1969 that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right. Tonight is our Brotherhood class. All right. I am Officer Maikwa, and I'll be holding it down tonight for Officer Sowap Yala, who is usually the officer in charge of the Brotherhood class here in Trinidad, right? As always, as we know, just a refresher, right? Monday nights is the history class, the Monday night history class, right? Which is done by Officer Makar, right? The Tuesdays, right, as is today, right, is the Brotherhood done by Officer Swapiala. All right. Wednesdays is the law class, right, done by Officer Makpayak. Right, and on a Friday, right, is the Lashwan Padash, right, which is the Hebrew, right, or the Holy Tongue, right, and these classes run from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Right. On a Sunday, we have our local scripture breakdown class here in Trinidad, right, which is done by Officer Galawan, right, our camp leader here in Trinidad, right, and also I forgot the Sabbath classes, which is done on a Saturday, right, and that is usually starts at 10 a.m. on a Saturday, right, so you could tune in online on our YouTube and Facebook pages and channels, and you can view these classes, right, so the classes during the week is from 7 to 9 p.m. and the Sabbath classes is starts from 10 a.m. in the morning. All right. Also, right. We know we have our Spanish brothers and sisters here in Trinidad and Tobago also. Understand? So we just like to get some information to them if they are watching. Right. Eso es oficial Maikwa. Right? Somos la escuela israelita del conocimiento práctico universal de 125 calle Harlem, Nueva York, bajo el mando de General YAHANNA. Hemos sido enseñando la verdad sobre la Biblia desde 1969 que los negros, hispanos y indios nativos son las 12 tribus perdidas de la nación de Israel. Para obtener más información, por favor, llame a 2905173. Por favor, llame 2905173, right? El líder del campamento para esta zona es Oficial Galawan. Eso es Oficial Galawan. Usted puede echar un vistazo a Israelitas Dominicanos en Facebook para más el contenido en español. Recuerda hacer clic como en nuestra página de Facebook y YouTube y suscribirse a nuestros canales. All right, so that was for our Spanish brothers and sisters, so they can get in contact with the school, and they could be transferred to the various Spanish classes throughout the I.S.U.P.K, right? Now, this is the Brotherhood class, right? And we're going to talk a little bit on the topic of courage, all right? Yeah, Shalom, right? We're going to talk a little bit on the topic of courage, because as you see, as the times go along today, right? A lot of things happening in the world all over, all right? And the true strength, right, is within the brotherhood, right? That is where the strength lies, within the brotherhood. Without your brothers, it makes everything harder, right? Right? Is a it becomes a struggle, right? But here in the I.S.U.P.K under command of YAHANNA, we have teachers to look up to, right? And brothers around us to battle through all the adversities we face together, right? So that brotherhood and that courage is very important, right? When it comes to face these perilous times that, as we see, the world is starting to go through, right? So I want to jump to our first scripture, right? And that scripture, we could start with 1 John 4 and 18. Right? And we're going to get straight into it because the time kind of tends to slip away quickly, right? You have it?
4:18?
Yeah. 1 John, right?
Okay. The book of 1 John chapter 4 and verse 18.
Go ahead.
There is no fear in love.
That's right. So right at the beginning, right? The scripture is saying it have no fear in love, right? So no part of love, you could find fear in it. Go ahead.
Okay. But perfect love casteth out fear.
Right. So perfect love, when you love perfect, right, it casts out all fear. Continue.
Because fear hath torment.
That's right. You understand? Fear torment you, right? Make you miserable, right? Have your mind running all over and have you superstitious and suspecting everything, right? Go ahead.
He that feareth is not made perfect in love.
That's right. So he that feareth is not made perfect in love. And I know here in the I.S.U.P.K motto is no cowards, right? Go ahead.
Okay. We love him because he first loved us.
That's right. The Most High first love us. So, we didn't love the Lord on your own. Understand? He first loved us, right? So that is why we love him. Go ahead.
Okay. If a man say, I love God.
So it go on to say now, if a man say that he love God, right? And that this is something many people saying they love God. They go all about, you ask them questions, they go on the street, they go in the churches, in the mosques, in the temple, everybody saying they love God, right? Go ahead.
Okay. If a man say, I love God, and hated his brother, he is a liar.
Right? So you say, if you love God and you hate your brother, it's because he's a liar, right? And what we going into showing you that one can't go without the other. You can't love God and hate your own people. You can't love God and hate the people around you, hate your brothers, right? Hate your race. You can't love God and hate your race, right? Go ahead.
Okay. For he that loveth not his brother whom he had seen.
Right? So if you love your brother, right, who you're seeing every day, go ahead.
How can he love God whom he had not seen?
Right. So if you don't like your brother, who you're seeing every day, right? The scripture telling you now, how could you love God? Understand? Right? So one can't go without the other. You must be able to love your people, love your race, love your brothers who are among you, right? And in order for you to love God, right? Continue. Go down to 21.
Okay. And this commandment have we from him.
Right? And this is a commandment from the Most High, right? That brotherhood is a commandment from the Most High. Go ahead.
That he who loveth God love his brother also.
That's right. And the commandment is that he will love God, that we must love his brother also. Right? So one can't go without the other. Understand? If we're saying we believe in his right, and we walking upright and righteous, and we say we love God, then now we have to love we brother, right?
Okay.
So from there we're going on to Luke chapter 6 and verse 31.
Okay.
Right? And that is the strength in the brotherhood. The strength in the brotherhood is is having that courage, understand, to love your people, because many people have difficulty in loving their own people, understand. They find it easy to go out and love all about the other nations, understand. Some of them promote the other races more than their own, right? But and have extreme difficulty in loving their own, right?
So like yes, 641.
No, 31. Tawada.
Okay. The book of Luke, chapter 6 and verse 31.
Well,
and as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise.
Right. So just as you want a man to do to you, right? What are you supposed to do?
Okay. As ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise.
That's right. Understand? So, in other words, the same thing you would want for yourself is the same thing, right? You should do to other men. Understand? And it is a good way to make righteous judgment. So you will mistreat somebody, understand, or take advantage of them. All right? You will leave him out in the hot sun working whole day with no water, like a beast. You understand where I'm from? And then now when you turn around, you expect help. You understand? Right? You had to set, in other words, you had to set the example. Right? So you're setting the example of the things you want to see. You understand? And when everybody see that example, then now it will be exemplified. It will be returned, because now everybody understand what they're supposed to do and how they function. Right? So we jump in from there. One time when we go into Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8. We will start at verse 8 by Wakisha. And this is what we want to understand, because it takes a lot of courage to love your people and to love your brothers, right?
What?
Yeah, go ahead.
The book of Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true.
Right, so it's saying whatsoever things are true. Go ahead.
Whatsoever things are honest.
And whatsoever things are honest. Go ahead.
Whatsoever things are just.
And whatsoever things are just. Continue.
Whatsoever things are of good report.
Things of good report, right? So the things that are true and just and honest and of good is the words of the Most High. You understand? These laws, statutes, and commandments, right? And this guide for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, that is the things that are true and just and honest, right? Continue.
Okay. If there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things.
That's right. And if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. These are the things we should be thinking about, right? How we could be better, understand? Among one another, right? How we could strengthen one another, right? As brothers and sisters in the truth, understand? And that is where the body will become stronger, understand? That is where the weak will gain courage, understand? That is where that is like when you look at it now, understand? When we above we, their strength will give we courage. Them already pass through what we thinking is hard. So things we think is hard, them already pass through it. Right? So that is how we will get the courage, right? Continue.
Okay. Verse 9. Those things which you have both learned and received.
Right? The things which you have both what?
Have both learned and received.
Right? The things which you have both learned and received. Right? Continue.
And heard.
And what?
And
heard. Right. So which means the things we have learned. When I say the things we have learned, when we keep learning, that is how we keep getting encouraged. You understand? So you gain encouraged to do better. understand, to live a better life, understand, to bring yourself to a higher standard, right? So the things you have learned and what? And heard, right? The things you've been taught, continue.
And seen.
Right? And the things we see. Now the things we see is the examples set before we. Understand? When we watch the example from straight down from we forefathers, come right up through all the scriptures, coming to today, through the leaders above us, right? You can see the example. You understand? So you see what a righteous man's supposed to be, how he's supposed to operate, how he's supposed to carry about himself. Now you have the ability to observe and to learn, understand, and to be encouraged, to gain that courage when you see this man standing up for truth, right? Continue.
And seen in me doom.
Right.
And the God of peace shall be with you.
Right. So you see now, and these things you're seeing me, he's telling you to do it. What he's telling you is basically follow my example. The example I set out in the scriptures here, right? This is Paul, he's telling you follow my example. And that's where I come from. So the things I do, you follow it, right? Because he learned, right, from the people who taught him, coming right down through the scriptures. They keep the same tradition. It was never different, right?
Right.
Continue.
Verse 10. But I rejoice in the Lord greatly, and now at the last your care of me hath flourished again.
Continue.
Wherein ye were also careful, but ye lacked opportunity.
Understand? And that's the time before. Now we had the chance to learn. Understand? Before now, more or less is like you know what to do. They're shaky. Understand? But now we have an example. You have somebody in front of you to stand up and show you the proper direction, right? Continue.
Verse 11. Not that I speak in respect of want.
Right? Not that I want anything. That we telling them. Understand? I ain't telling them just to big up myself, or not that I want anything. Right? Go ahead.
For I have learned in whatsoever state I am.
Right? So he's telling you now, I learn in whatever state, no matter what life, what situation life for me. This is where you learn, right?
Okay. Therewith to be content.
Right? He learned to be content. Right? And when you learn to be content, not in the religious way we just think, but what he's saying is in any situation that he's in, right? He could survive. Understand? So I in Saudi Arabia, I could survive. Understand? And the Caribbean, I could survive. Wherever the Lord decide to put me on my journey, I could survive. Understand? If I'm rich, I could survive. If I'm poor, I could survive. And I break up house somewhere, I could survive. I'm in prison, I could survive. Right? So he content, right? Go ahead.
Verse 12. I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound.
Yeah, right. He say you know both how to be abased, right? And how to be and how to be abound, right? Right? When I tell you when I tell you know both how to be abased and how to be abound. Abased is like being humble, right? If you have the definition, you can look up that from Bible question. And so our base is like humility.
Abased. It's from the dictionary on Google.
All right.
Behave in a way that belittles or degrades someone.
Go ahead.
Synonyms is humble, or humiliate, or belittle.
Right. Well, the best one, the best description is humble, right? Because that is the kind of the Merriam-Webster definition.
So like it's in context.
Yeah, and bring it in context, right?
Yeah, okay.
And so what he's saying is, so we read back from the top of the verse, Bible question.
Verse 12, book of Philippians chapter 4 and verse 12.
Well,
I know both how to be abased.
Right, so he's telling now, I know how to be humble, go ahead.
and I know how to abound.
And how to abound, right? Abound is like something plentiful or something that flourishing, right?
Right.
Right. So I know to be a base and I know how to flourish. Go ahead.
Everywhere and in all things,
right?
I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry.
Right? Both to be full and to be hungry. So he could anywhere put him in any situation. Understand? He know to be full and how to be hungry. Understand? It come like sometimes you could become in a position where you're at ease. Understand? But you could still be aggressive. You could still be hungry. You ain't fall asleep. You still know where your mission is. You understand? Go ahead.
Both to abound and to suffer need.
Right? And both to abound and to suffer need. He could do the two at the same time. Meaning that if he end up in a situation, let me say you should end up in prison. The condition that he in, he could still flourish. Understand? He could still do good. It don't matter where. It doesn't matter. The circumstance don't stop him. You understand where I'm from?
Okay.
Right? And we know when I read in the scripture, they know the history of Paul is shipwreck, is jail, is snake bite.
Right.
But the mission still there, right? And he trying to show the men these things don't matter your position. Understand? He's still about doing the work. He's still encouraged. He's still about going out on the street.
Right.
Understand where I'm from?
Okay.
Right? He ain't sleeping. He ain't getting relaxed. Understand where I'm from? It's still about going out there and doing what we're supposed to do for the most side.
Right.
Understand where I'm from? We ain't getting tired or distracted. Understand? Or comfortable. Understand where I'm from? Because sometimes understand, 1 minute you're strong, and sometimes they get good slavery, and if you realize I get through, and that's where I'm from. And then now you start to slow down because the slavery start to pull it one way because it become important, and that's where I'm from. But you're focusing on the work of the Most High, you understand, and you keep flourishing because once you do the work, you keep flourishing, right? And he trying to encourage the brothers and tell them, understand that even in your worst circumstances, you still had the ability, understand, to flourish, understand, and to go out there and defend it. Just like how we go out on camp, we could go there and defend it. Understand? Right? Time on up. What is the night?
Verse 12.
Alright, give me verse 13.
Okay. I can do all things through Christ.
We say I can do what?
I can do all things through Christ.
Right, and this is where the Christian church does mistake. I mean, understand? That's where they just apply it in general. Understand? But I could do anything in Christ. But we're trying to show is through suffering and through adversity, he could still accomplish what he's supposed to do in Christ.
Right.
You understand where I'm coming from? Because that's the ability the Most High give him. You understand where I'm coming from? We might be in some, I don't know, I mean in the back of Guyana somewhere, getting mosquito bite to it. That ain't going to stop the truth. You're still going to do the work. You understand where I'm from? You're just sleeping in a hammock, you're still going to do the work. Rain falling, you're still going to do the work. You understand where I'm from? Right? The place you have to go far, we still going to do the work. You understand? Because that is what it is about. It's about going out there and gathering back with people. Right? But it is take a certain amount of courage to do it. You understand? Because many times you go outside there, nobody want to hear what you have to say. Some want to hear, some don't want to hear. Understand? Right. But as we was reading in the scriptures, understand? If I don't love my brother, if I don't have the love for my brother, how I could say I love God? You understand where I'm from? Right? Or I could just, or I could lie down on my bed. You understand? Knowing my brother might be gone down. He don't know better. That's the life he living. You understand? Right? But then now, I know the truth. I know right from the wrong decision. Then now I have to go there and tell him. You understand? I had at least give him the opportunity to say, nah, brother, I don't want to hear that. You understand where I'm from? Right. Let he tell me that rather than I never go and tell him. You understand? Right? And that is why he trying to encourage them to go there and be strong and do the work. Right? Right? From there, I way to jump to Deuteronomy 31:6. Babakasha.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31 and verse 6.
Well,
be strong and of a good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them.
That's right. And this was Moses telling Joshua because they're about to go in the promised land. Right? And Moses already knowing that he wouldn't be there. Understand? And Joshua was the person to come and take over the mantle to lead Israel, right? At that time. Understand? So he tell them, boy, be strong and of good courage. And that's really the truth require we know. To have that courage to be man enough, understand? To go out there and do what we're supposed to do. Understand where I'm from? Right? And don't be afraid. That just what it is. Understand? Don't be afraid. Go ahead.
For the Lord thy God, he it is that doeth go with thee.
That's right. Understand? He said the Lord thy God, right? He it is do it go with thee. The Lord, and this is the thing, right? We have to strive to make sure and be in right standing with the God, with the Most High. So that when we go out to do the work, you understand, you know the Most High with you. And understand, regardless of what. And understand where I'm from, because many times, and you know, the general them go say, well, you could go to camp and then come, and sometimes we hear it, but really and truly sometimes we just study, well, you know, well, we done big plan. Well, after camp so and so, we go one thing and you understand, but you don't even know if you go make it past camp. You understand where I'm from? You understand? And that's how serious this work is, and how serious it could be. You understand? And sometimes when you look around and you think of things like that, and you think about your people suffering in the ghetto and things like that, then now your mind state will be less on silliness then. Understand? And you will be focused on the more important matters. Understand? Right? You will focus on more focus on doing the work. Understand? Instead of we just being silly then. You understand where I'm from? Because we know the seriousness and the seriousness are the judgment that which are about to come on our people who don't want to listen to the Most High and to the other nations. Understand? The prophet before us, our forefathers, prophesied about that. Understand? And we get countless pieces of history. Understand? And records for we to read about what is going to happen in these last days. Understand? Continue.
For the Lord thy God, he it is that doeth go with thee. He will not fail thee or forsake thee.
That's right. And when we look all through the records, yes, Israel went into slavery because we didn't want to listen to the laws, statutes, and commands of the Most High. We didn't want to do what the Most High say. I'm going to slavery. But every time, you understand, when I look through Israel records, the Lord redeemed we from the calamity we in. You understand? And now we find ourselves back in a, and it's written and prophesied that the Lord going to redeem we out of this. You understand where I'm from? But in all this, we have a part to play. You understand? It's time for we to get up and go out and gather with people. You understand? Because them in the ghetto, we in the ghetto too. We amongst them. You understand where I'm from? Because when they hear we come from camp, when they see the same people, you were seeing in camp, we living in the same community. You understand where I'm from? Right? And that's the thing about the I.S.U.P.K under command in Johnny. You understand? We ain't abandoning people, we are no mansion. when camp close or when class close, we're not going in no mansion and go and lock yourself away from the community and to come back tomorrow morning again. And understand, like how them pastors is. That matter big house and the big gate to go and close.
Right.
And that's where I come from. And the Mercedes Benz to wind up the glass and drive past. And understand? We the same people who out there. And understand? Who on the street corner who come in and tell you, brother, it's time to wake up.
Right.
And understand where I come from? It's time to put on the weed and the gun. And understand where I come from? It have a better way. And understand? And for those who not readily available to hear, we have to go and meet them. And understand where I come from? We have to get up and go there and meet them. Right? From there, we have to jump to Isaiah chapter 41 and 10. Understand? And that is the power of brotherhood, because brotherhood, when we go there, right, and make that sacrifice, the scripture say he loved us. And understand? That is why we love him. We now doing the same thing for we people, because we love them, right? Somebody go see that love, understand, and decide, now I want to come out my unrighteousness. And that's where I'm coming from, so that I could do the same for somebody else. And that's how courage does spread. And understand, it's something that could be learned, but it must be shown by example. And that's where I'm coming from. It had to be exemplified so that somebody could see it and they could come and learn, and then know it will come like like I call it, how to say, cells the separate. You make a next courageous man, and that courageous man now, when they will keep multiplying and keep multiplying and keep multiplying, because they're building strong people. Understand? Okay. But if you're weak, you will end up building a whole set of weak people. Understand? So that's why you have to build that courage. Understand? And we have countless examples in the I.S.U.P.K under command in YAHANNA. Understand? Countless, right, with strong, brilliant warriors in the truth. Understand? When you watch it, we could pattern that example. Understand? And be encouraged. Understand? And now, when we encourage, we become strong, we able to pass that courage on to somebody else. And that is the goal. The goal is and I hear one of the generals say this, the goal, understand, is to make the men whoever following you better. They must be better. You understand? You understand? They must be of a higher standard than we use. That's the goal. You understand? That we must want, because we head into perfection. Right? Okay. Give me what you have, Baba Kusha.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 41 and verse 10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God.
That's right. You understand? So he tell you, fear not, because he with we. You understand where I come from? But we gotta always try to be in right standing, so that the Most High will be with you. Right? Where?
For I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee.
That's right.
With the right hand of my righteousness.
That's right. The Most High say he will strengthen you and he will uphold you with the right hand of your righteousness. And understand where I'm from? And you know the right hand is a strong hand. You understand where I'm from? Right? So and if you want to picture it literal, picture a literal man, where rather you hold it with? He weaken or he's strong? If you're falling off a cliff, you want him to use his strong hand. You understand? Because that hand you know go most likely to save you. And that is what the Most High telling you. He using his strong hand. And that's where I'm coming from. But we know, right? I don't follow the examples of the men above we, and follow the pattern that they lay down. And understand? Because them following the exact pattern of the scriptures. And understand? And that is how we will become better and stronger. You understand where I'm coming from? Right? And that is how the Most High will be with you. Because now, by me following that pattern, right? And having that love for my people, then I could say I love God. And understand? But I can't say I love God and I don't want to go and help my people.
Right.
You understand where I'm from? Right? And I hide in some way. I can't say that. And understand? I have to go out and look for my people. We have to go out and do what we're supposed to do. You understand? And help people. Right? Give me Deuteronomy 20 and verse 4 about Kusha. You understand? because sometimes life is some strange things, and and the truth so funny, and because imagine now they're making I.S.U.P.K have prison program. So even if you end up in prison, you understand, you had to find that courage, you understand, to continue doing what you're supposed to do for the Most High. You understand? Right? Don't matter what situation you end up in, right? Or what circumstance.
Right.
We had to find that courage, right? To want to do the work and to want to do better and want to raise the standard, right?
Right.
Continue.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20 and verse 4. For the Lord your God is he that goeth with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save you.
And that's right, understand? And it say the Lord your God to do what? To fight for we. So we are going to kill, we are walk on and kill no East Indian or no white man. It's not about that. And that's not coming from. He say he do the fighting for you. But then no, we had to fight for the Most High. You understand? Yeah. We had to fight for we people. Fighting for the Most High, fighting for your people. You understand? Fighting to bring yourself to a higher standard. Understand? You know, I think it's 2 Corinthians and 13 in 13 chapter. You understand? Talking about to examine yourself daily. You understand where I'm from? That's what you gotta do. And it's only talking about not eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. And so I examine myself. So I examine myself that I wouldn't eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, or I wouldn't do some other heinous thing. And that's not where I'm from. I examine yourself to build yourself, to give yourself that ability to go with it, to build, give yourself that courage. And understand? So that when somebody watch your example, and understand, them could be encouraged. And understand? Right? When they see that man, I was saying, nah boy, that man trying his best. I want to be like that man. Understand? And then in he trying to be like that man, we had to try to guide him to be better and stronger and harder and tougher. You understand? Right? And just like Commander YAHANNA, because I like how Commander YAHANNA does lead from the front. You understand? You never see you rock back no way, and years you see him. You understand? He out there, you on the street. You understand? Interview. He come and teach in the night. He day because he leading from the front. He set example. Right. You understand where I'm from? So that the men under him will have that courage and be encouraged and ready to fight. You understand where I'm from? Ready to be a true soldier, ready to endure hardship. You understand where I'm from? Because I remember in a class when Jeremiah teaching. You understand? He recalling a time when there was in a camp, right? And people pelted them with maple bottle. And that's where I'm coming from, right? And them endured that hardship, right? And men now who come after underneath could watch and see the example. And that's where I'm coming from, of men enduring through some ridiculous things. And understand? Fighting Egyptology and Muslim and all kind of thing on the street. And understand? In a time when people didn't could have care even less about the truth. Right. You understand where I'm from? Because that time is black power, you understand? And the rise Islam and all them kind of thing. You understand? So the worst time and it had no Facebook and YouTube. You understand? For nobody to get likes and thumbs up. You understand? None of that. You understand? And them went through that and endure it and come through. You understand? And so when we watch that example now we could be stronger. And that's where I'm coming from. Same thing with the sisters when they watch the example of the sisters in the scriptures, Esther, and all these different sisters in the scriptures. Now we can learn, and now we can learn how to be strong. You understand? And not just be weak and complaining. You understand? Right? Or fighting over the petty matters. You understand? Fighting over things on Facebook, you ain't get a thumbs up. You understand? Or a man didn't share a video. That ridiculousness. You understand? We had to become past that. Right. You understand? Because it's becoming critical and important for we to do better and to raise the standard. Right? Okay. as the I.S.U.P.K under command in YAHANNA, always pushing the standard higher, always pushing it to be better.
Right.
And understand? Since we hear in the truth, nobody could say they're the same person. And understand? The same old you. And understand? Right? Because the standard always pushing to be better and to and of better substance and quality. Right?
Right.
That was the end of that, Barakisha. Jump to 2 chapter 1 and verse 7, Barakisha.
The book of 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7. For God had not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of a sound mind.
That's right. So the Lord today, He never give you the spirit of fear. Right? But of what?
Of power and of love and of a sound mind.
All right, continue.
Verse 8. Be not thou therefore ashamed of the testimony of our Lord.
That's right, man. You understand? We can't be ashamed of the testimony of the Lord. This you understand where I'm from? Right? And this is sacrifice He made for me. Right? And sacrifice, because plenty of them, as I see the Bible, that white man. So the system automatically making the mind block them from having a chance to view the truth.
Right.
Understand? And we had to go and break that shell. Understand? Or that veil from over the eyes so that they could get a chance to see. Understand? Go ahead.
So like I said, that's the tricks.
Yeah, you understand where I'm from? Right? That veil cover them. And them just in the system, going back and forth, going to work, coming home, see about your family. You understand? Where you might go in the mall. You're within the system, as I say, within the matrix. Your mind block. You know, some people just totally give up on looking for God. You understand? Because you know why? The system beat them, the Christianity beat them out until they get tired. They get so abused by the Christian church, they just home. You understand where I'm from? Right? Because the mind can't even fathom or think about nothing about God, because the mind get tired. You understand? Right? Continue. Yeah, let's say something.
Yes, so like I said, you know, talking to our brother here, you know, just listening to him, you know, it has some people like the one, you know, they're looking for something, but they're just not sure. And even them trying to comprehend even what they think they know, you know, it's very difficult for them to even grasp.
That's right.
It's like they know, okay, I know this history, I know you were slaves, I know you was this, I know, you know, Christianity is not, but it's like, you know, what else? So most people they're not seeing anything other than what is happening in front of them.
That's
right. You know, true commanding General YAHANNA and the men of the I.S.U.P.K present, you know, the truth to them.
That's a valid point in making the understand, because they don't know where to turn to. Understand? Right? And this is where the courage had to come in. Understand? Because we know how to encourage encourage them now back into righteousness. Understand? But to encourage somebody into righteousness is not only just telling them, because when they see you on the street, they only hearing what you're saying, they watch what you're doing.
Okay.
Understand? So then, you know, is your example. You understand where I'm from? All we going, and you know Trinidad is a small place. You understand? You're going to the next end of the island, and you're going to meet somebody, you know. You understand where I'm from? Right? And this will be the truth. The truth is about example. You understand where I'm from? Right? Having that example to show and encourage people, because some people don't want to do it, but then they're saying they see no example to follow, to get them that strength, to get them that encouragement. You understand? To get up there, and because the same way when we know coming to the truth, be somebody come and teach you, to come and encourage you. Until now you get the courage, now you're able to go and street teach. You understand? You're able to go and do the work at the Most High. You understand? You're able to come and teach classes because somebody now had us to give you that strength and build you up. You understand? In the right way to go and do the work. You understand? Continue if you have more on it.
Verse 8. Be not thou therefore ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, nor of me his prisoner.
Nor of what?
Nor me his prisoner.
That's right. And understand? Call himself what?
Prisoner.
The prisoner of the Most High, the prisoner of the Lord of his Lord Yahweh. You understand? Because that's what it is. It's a scripture, a paraphrasing. Understand? But it's saying we is not we own. You understand? And that's the thing in the world today. Sometimes we just feel we is we own. I could move my hands, I could move my foot, I could go on the beach when I want. You know what I mean? I could go to the supermarket, it's my own. But that we fail to realize that a price pay for it. And as I'm going from, and we belong to somebody with the Most High own, with the Most High chosen, right? Continue.
But be thou partaker of the afflictions of the gospel according to the power of God.
That's right. And it say, but be partakers of the affliction of the gospel. You understand? Right? And it's so ironic. You understand? They tell you the what? Afflictions of the gospel. You understand? And tell you smooth sailing. Just like how the Christian church tell you, right? When you give life to Christ, everything good from there. You understand? And here, the point tell you no, you will have afflictions of the gospel. Go ahead.
Like I said, I was studying on what is the affliction of the church, the Christian church actually getting.
You understand where I'm from? That's what's going on. You understand? Because they just put you, they make you feel and put you in this bubble. You understand? And sometimes what kind of turmoil. You understand? But every Sunday they come in and inject you with a little more feel, more Christianity, and they just do. And they sit down and they're not aware of what's going on in the world.
Right.
You understand? They're not aware of what's going on around you. You understand? And that's why people will be shocked. Like when you go on the street and you tell them now, God have our favorite people. You understand? The mind will blow because they're not accustomed here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like I said, is an example is it like not knowing that they have enemies?
That's right.
Other nations,
you understand? You know the other nations the enemies. You understand where I'm coming from? Right? You think everybody's a friend. With your partner and everybody, you think everybody's seeking your best interests. You understand? And not knowing that they set up themselves to destroy you. You understand?
Okay.
But in the destruction, they're using you. So they're using you to destroy your own self. You understand? And a good example is like when I watched how we had the elections in Trinidad yesterday. You understand? One party decide, well, they know there's East Indian, so but they decide we won't get the vote in the more Negro part of the country. So they decide to use famous celebrity artists in order now to join the vote.
Right.
You understand? So they had them singing song. Some of them going up to be members of parliament to represent the party, so that you will get a Negro face, but behind the scene it will be a Indo party. So you have the face of the black man, but then behind the scenes. You understand? And that is how critical it could get. You understand? And because of Christianity and Islam and thing, and we like the melting pot. You understand? But the melting pot is not good for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. We just get destroyed by that melting pot. Go ahead.
So like I said again, if I may.
Yeah, no problem.
Today, in different ways, social media, like as a brother, some of the same artists who go on, sing and do all these things for the money, trying to use the black face. That in itself now started bringing turmoil within that community because persons in that community no longer trust what they say. They're victimizing that person now.
Yeah.
For going on so-called sellout.
Yeah, come like a sellout people.
That's it. So you for yourself and other people.
Yeah.
In problem.
Yeah. That's where I come from because people now find that you're joining up with them. You understand? Right? And the loss now. But what about if all they did win? You understand? Then they just end up selling out their own people. You understand? So it's that kind of trade-off, and that is why voting is not for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, because it just make we put other nations above we. You understand? Because the way how we set up the thing, we set up the thing that the Black man, the Hispanic man, the Native Indian man, he is just to serve on the earth to the other nations. You understand? We like, I say, like we are like homeborn slaves. You understand? But unfortunately, if the Black man continue to go down that road of politics and democracy and voting and these kind of things, we will always remain in the bottom of society. You understand? Because they don't care for the benefit of the Black man or the Hispanic man. The other nations is about their own. You understand? And it's about raising the own to power. And that is what it basically is. Right? Continue, you on it? Go ahead.
But be thou partaker of the afflictions of the according to the power of God.
According to the power of God, right? That's the night?
All
right. Jump to give me a verse. Give me John. No, slack here. Give me Psalms 23, Bible question. Son, we have plenty examples in the scriptures. Son, showing you the courage of the forefathers in difficult times. Understand? Well,
the book of Psalms, chapter 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
Right, and this is King David here, right? In the Psalms, and he's saying the Lord is the shepherd, right? Go ahead.
He maketh me to lie down in green pastures.
Right, so the Lord maketh him to lie down in green pastures, right? And comfort. Go ahead.
He leadeth me beside the still waters.
And the Lord had the ability to lead it. So all the things going on in the world, all around, it doesn't mean that nothing is going on in the world and the world is just calm and smooth. You understand? Things just be going around. You understand? But the Lord leading you down that path, right? When people or the nations expect turmoil against you, the Lord could give you peace, right? Go ahead.
So that can say for me. Is it a good example to use like how the coronavirus, pandemic now.
Right.
And how even though we in this pandemic, the many I.S.U.P.K and the command and general YAHANNA, you have that sense of stability. You have no fear. You have no that still water.
That's right. And I understand you had the ability to see, and that's an excellent example you bring up there, because in the I.S.U.P.K on the command general YAHANNA, you had the ability to see clearly.
Okay.
You understand? So you're not like everybody else in panic, running all up and all the place, and you know what's going on. You understand? Okay. Continue.
He restored my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake.
That's right. You understand? You follow and do the things that the Most High, you lead in the path of righteousness. You understand? For your name's sake, for your reputation. And the Most High reputation. And he promised you that. You understand? That if we do and follow the commandments of the Most High, he will fight for you. Alright? Go ahead.
Yea, do I walk through the path? Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death?
Yea, you understand? Do I in hell? You understand? Do people getting the face shoot off? You understand? Do crime high and pestilence all about the place, all kind of disease, coronavirus? Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death? What?
I will fear no evil.
That's right. That's right. Understand? We will fear no evil because now we understand the power we serve. Understand? And the more you bring your alignment to the Most High, the more you bring your alignment to to be teachers and leaders in the I.S.U.P.K, right, and follow the structure and the commandments, the better. You understand? You're able to survive, because now you won't be fearful like the people in the world. You understand? Because them running around like headless chickens. You understand? And that is what has given you the courage. You understand? That will just make you strong, because you understand the backing and the power you have. Right? Continue.
For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
That's right. The rod and the staff, you understand? You have people to correct you and show you the right direction. You understand where I'm from? So we know which way to go on, which way to turn. You understand? The rod is like correction and the staff is your guide.
Right.
You understand? Right? So you're able to get point in the right direction. You understand? Continue.
Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies.
Yeah, and before you go to part, the rod and the staff, that is as the I.S.U.P.K not come and join you. You understand where I'm from? Because why is a man in the world, right? He might be studying to go and buy the next new Ferrari. You understand? But because we are leaders and teachers of us to guide you and to correct you in the right way, why is he buying a Ferrari? We leaders watching the gate. You understand? Them watching the nation. There's a watch over the nation. And why is he buying a Ferrari? We leaders go tell you, you know what? I feel I should stock up on rice and water. And get some bread. You understand? And next thing you know, a famine pass, and he have a brand new Ferrari and he dying. You understand? Right. And you have bread to eat, able to survive the famine. Because you know how leaders in the gate to watch over you. Right? Read back from the top of verse 5.
Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies.
That's right. And you say what? He prepare a table for you, right? When all the enemies dead. How we say?
Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies.
Nah, after he kill out all the enemies and things that are going nice and neat, then he prepare the table.
In the presence of my enemies.
That's right. He prepare the table right here. And that is what people don't understand. Right? And that is why we know how to develop that strength and that courage to go and help you brothers and sisters. Okay. Because right in the presence are all the enemies, the Syrians, Chinese, Africans, East Indians, you name it. Wherever clan they come from, Edomites, understand? He prepare the table in the presence of the enemies. Understand? The government that the Most High building. Understand? And the 144,000 being sealed right in front of the eyes, and they know. Understand? And that is the and that is where people had to wake up to and understand. Understand? And understand how to come back to them laws, them statutes, and them commandments. Understand? And we know, because we started to understand and learn these prophecies, right? And these things in scriptures now, then now we had to develop that ability to be that example and to go there and to fight for we people. Right?
Okay.
Continue.
Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
That's right. Understand? Mercy and goodness will follow all these life, but what you have to do, you have to dwell in the house of the Lord, because dying it didn't point out nowhere else. Understand? It's coming from the house of the Lord, right?
Okay.
Give me Romans chapter 38 and chapter 8 and verse 38, Baba Kusha.
The book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 38. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come.
Right? So this Paul is saying, right? He persuaded, he fully convinced in his mind, right? That death, nor angel, principalities, powers, No things present or things to come. Go ahead and read verse 39.
No height, no depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of God.
That is right. And that's not from and that is how that is how tight the brotherhood and sisterhood must be. Nothing could separate you from the love of God. And understand? Because we're fighting for our people, we're fighting for our nation, right? And we're doing whatever we're supposed to do to win back with people.
Okay.
You understand? We must, right, have a genuine love for people. If we want them to righteousness are the most high through you. You understand? To see that uprightness, we must have a certain level of integrity. You understand? And want to do good, to want to genuinely help people. Right? Right? We must have that courage and that fight to go and fight for them. Right? Just like how we do it every day, every camp. You understand? Going out there and fighting for people. Going out there to tell them the truth about this Bible. Just like we leaders and elders and officers and commanders and generals fighting for. You understand? No, now we have a chance to fight, and we have to fight. Right? Well,
Okay. Which is in Christ Jesus our Lord.
You understand? Which is in the house. You understand where I'm from? Right? That is the fight we have to fight. Right? It's not, we cannot be lay back. Understand? And expect it to happen for we. You understand? We know how to follow the example of we generals and we officers.
Okay.
And we captains. You understand? We have to follow that example and fight for we people, right?
Okay.
Give me Matthew.
Okay. Book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 12.
Well,
therefore, all things whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them.
That's right.
For this is the law and the prophets.
That's right. You understand? From the law and prophets. All that they want men to do for you, we have to do it for other men. You understand where I'm from? We have to go there and do it for people. You understand? Right? Somebody do it for we. You understand? Somebody decide, you understand, that I going out of camp today to teach. You understand where I'm from? They didn't stay home. They didn't lie down on the bed. You understand? They didn't say I'm too tired. And that, because that time they didn't say they're too tired, the most I was able to use them to reach somebody else. Understand? Okay. Because they're obedient to the Most High, understand? The Most High make them able to reach our next brother. Okay. And now, when our next brother able to stand up, understand, and do the same thing, he doing the same thing. He multiplying, understand? He gained the courage now, understand, to go there and fight for his people. You understand? Okay. And a good example was like David and Goliath. You understand? Because Goliath was he was the African's champion. Nobody can beat him. But as soon as David beat Goliath, then what happened? Everybody get courage. Everybody get the will to fight. And that's not where I'm from. Because now that is how they spread. They have to see the example, set the example. And when they set the example, that is what other men go get from, and other men now go be able to go out and fight. Right? Right? So just like just people do for we have to do the same thing for other people. Right? Give me Proverbs 1:3 and verse 7, for sure.
Okay. 3 and 17?
Yeah.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3.
No, so like here,
the book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Well,
my son, forget not my law.
Right, and then the Most I say, we can't. That's the first thing. We can't forget the Most High law. Right, right. The Bible is laws, statutes, and commandments, and that's the guide for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Right. So we can't forget the Most High laws. Right. Right, and one of the Most High laws is that we must love we brothers we self in order for we to love God. Right. Well.
Okay. But let thine heart keep my commandments.
But let our heart do what?
Keep my commandments.
The commandments have to be in mind. Understand? Right? We have to be thinking on the commandments. Right? Thinking about the instructions the Most High give we, right? Go ahead.
For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee.
Go ahead.
Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck.
Say what? They say, let not mercy and truth forsake we. And that's where I'm from. We must have mercy so that way we could get mercy. Understand? Right? That is what it is. It's not about going out there and crushing we people to the dust. You understand? That is we people. You understand? Yes, I had to let him know the truth. You understand? But I'm pounding him to the dust. You understand? Because my job is to make him know the truth about the Most High. Right. You understand? And not destroy you. You understand? The Most High say for we in captivity, not for we destruction. Now, that was for we to learn. Right. You understand? To taste and understand we had like wait is to serve other people and be jealous. You understand? That they rule in the world and have all the riches. You understand? And you have to suffer. You understand? And work at 9 to 5 to pay bills. Okay. And I said every day and every day I'm flare calling you. Hello? And I said you have 400 from me. And I said from and I worried where again the next 400 from. And I said, right? So you didn't put it for destruction, but for we learning. That's why it's for we to learn, to be better, right? To raise the standard. And I said, yeah, go ahead.
Even when you look at it as you brought that example, even looking at raising children, sometimes your children might do something. And as you say, you cut the ass. In their mind, they're thinking, I saw fine. Yeah. Daddy don't want to go nowhere. Yeah. Daddy making me do stuff at work. Yeah. But as a parent, that this is the guide the child.
That's right.
Develop the child.
That's right.
Until they reach that point of understanding that even they themselves say, yeah, but I get say, I do all this, but it benefits me more. That's right.
Yeah, so now you're able to see the bigger picture.
Okay.
Right? That's a good example. Right? Right? So we have to have mercy. So we had the truth, but you had to have mercy, right? And forsake. So let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Go ahead.
Bind them about thy neck.
Bind them about your neck, right? Go ahead.
Write them upon the table of thy heart.
Right? Just like them that is inscribed in stone. That we tell you write it in your mind, inscribe it in your mind, so that you wouldn't forget, right? Go ahead, continue to verse 4.
So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man.
And he's telling you something, right? When you have mercy and truth, because all this to strengthen the brotherhood, and I make the brotherhood strong. Then you will find good favor, right? And good understanding in the sight of God and man. You understand? So in the sight of God, right, you could find favor with God. Okay. You understand where I'm from? And you will recognize that a man a good understanding. Okay. You understand? Because it must be a balance, right? You can't be, you can't go and cough your wife in she face every day. You understand? Right? And we had this slang there, merciless. You understand? You cough in she face merciless. Right? Right? That's ridiculousness. You understand? Come from, you must have some type of balance. You understand? No, you could correct your wife, right? And it have a proper way to do it according to the scriptures. And that's where I come from. But you wouldn't be like a beast in your house. And that's how the scriptures say a roaring lion. And that's where I come from. You must have that balance, right? Continue.
Okay. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart,
right?
And lean not unto thine own understanding.
Right? So we are not trusting the Lord with all we mind. Right? The heart is the mind, trusting the Lord with all we mind, and we're not leaning on our own understanding, meaning that we're not doing nothing outside the scriptures.
Okay.
You understand where I'm from? We're not coming up with some new plan. You understand? That had nothing to do with the scriptures. This is the instruction book. You understand? Everything we could think about, it, I have an answer. You understand? No matter what you think about, you see the answer for it. You understand where I'm from? Right? Imagine that the Christian church have a whole Bible. A whole Bible. And you still have homosexual in the church.
Okay.
You understand where I'm from? That tell you how mad that is, because right in their mind, like that, not inside it. Yeah, go ahead.
The guy new breakdown.
The guy new breakdown. You understand? Or a strange breakdown.
Okay.
You understand? Because that's a stranger teaching in them church now. You know what I mean? Right? So I way to jump. What we was that is Proverbs 3.
We're going to verse 16.
Verse 6. Give me verse 6 in my mind.
Okay. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path.
Yeah. So that is the Bible, and we generals and captains, right? That is we guide. Understand? That's how. That's how we part to be able to guide. We ask questions. Understand? So like you say, if I do this well, and you will get the outcome. Understand? You can make you see the 4 different parts. And if you take part 1, this will happen. Understand? Because sometimes the scripture will be so plain, you could see what will happen before it happened. Understand where I'm from? You're looking at any proverbs that tell you if you walk in a dark alley with a stranger, though walking in a dark alley with a stranger, he shed your blood. You understand where I'm from? Because you don't know this person, and you just decide to go down this dark path with him. You understand where I'm from? It's obvious something most likely could happen because there is no your brother. You understand where I'm from? Right? So different little basic scenarios to show you, understand, or to guide you from different things that they can get entrapped in. And I can tell you about receiving gift. And understand how a gift could destroy the heart, things like that. You understand where I'm from? So now you know how to maneuver. You understand? And you can have some wisdom how to operate and guide yourself on the earth, right? Continue.
Okay, verse 7. Be not wise in thine own eyes.
Right? So we can't be wise in our own eyes. We can't do what we want. You understand? We gotta move according to the instruction the Most High give we, right? Go ahead.
Fear the Lord and depart from evil.
Fear the Lord and do what?
Depart from evil.
That is right. You understand where I'm from? Right? And many scriptures and many prophets tell you, right? When the scripture begin to give the description of the man, they go tell you, and he hated evil. You understand where I'm from? Right? Because many righteous men in the scriptures, that is what it was. They hate evil. You understand? That's what make them walk down the righteous path. They can't be righteous and they like evil. You have to separate. You understand? So be not wise in your own eyes and fear the Lord. Do what the Most High tell you. You understand? They say the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. This is the instruction manual. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. Right? From there, I want to jump to Psalms 40 and 4 by Okasha.
Okay. The book of Psalms.
Go ahead.
Blessed is the man that maketh the Lord his trust.
Blessed is the man that making the Lord your trust. That is a safe place. It made the Lord a safe place, right? It's like how people put money in a safe.
Okay.
Understand? The Lord is your safe place. That your rock. Understand? That your fort then. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. And respected not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies.
That's right. And understand where I'm from? Yes, they stand for uprightness. Understand? No matter how the world go try to sway you to all manner of perverseness, understand? You're standing to be upright and to always speak the truth about the Moses and the scriptures. Right? From there we jump into Psalms 57 and verse 5.
Book of Psalms chapter 37 and verse 5. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him.
That's right. You understand? So that's what we have to do. All the things we're doing, right? We committing we way unto the Lord. We're doing all the things that we're supposed to do according to the Most High. Understand? Right? According to His righteousness. Right? And I will say commit your way to the Lord and trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Okay. Right? And that is an important part. The Most High, right, is who does bring things to pass because he in charge. And plenty times, most time we just forget that it is the Most High in charge. Right? As I was saying earlier, because most times it is feel, understand, or it is appear to some people that you in charge of what's going on. But when in the whole picture, the Most High in charge, right? And as the scripture said, the Most High eyes 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Right. You understand? So you know what's going on. You understand? You have angels taking record of all things that are going on, right? And sometimes, that is why it's important to be in right standing with the Most High and fight to be in right standing with the Most High, so that any trick of the enemy, you'll be able to escape it. Right? Jump down to that's the most slack here. Check this here. That was Psalms what?
37:5.
Give me Proverbs 17 and 17, Bob Fisher.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 17 and verse 17. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
A brother is born what?
For adversity.
That's right. And that's that's what brotherhood is. Brotherhood does help you get through adversity. Understand? The brotherhood is the courage and the strength to get through difficult times. Understand? That will give the strength. Right? And that will give the courage, right? To go out there and defend it. Give me Proverbs 17 and 9. I'm going to Proverbs 17 and 9.
Proverbs chapter 17 and verse 9. He that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separated very friends.
You understand? So read back the first part again.
He that covereth a transgression seeketh love.
Right. So it's like you have a brother, right? Or they're able to deal with things one-on-one. Our friend there, we deal with it, right? Straight, one-on-one. But he that do what? Read next part.
Okay. But he that repeated a matter separated very friends.
Right, but then again, it has some people bringing up evil. You're bringing up old things over and over and over. You understand? It only bringing hurt, right? And separation, as the scripture say, right? Read back the last part.
But he that repeated a matter separated very friends.
Right. Understand? So it bringing back up old things over and over and over. So it's like I remember something from since I don't know 1932. Understand? And I comment me for it again. Understand? Because I hold that offense within myself against you. Understand? And every time that come, I'm using it against you. Understand? So that make friends separate, right? It make separation between your brothers, right? Give me Proverbs 18 and 19, Baba Kusha.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 19. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city.
A brother what?
A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city.
That is right, right? Because when you reach to that point of offense, it should be one than a strong city. Have an expert. Go down a little again.
Come. And their contentions are like the bars of a castle.
Right, and the battle or the struggle, right, to win them back is like the bars of what kind of city?
So okay. And their contentions are like the bars of a castle.
Like the bars of a castle, and understand? We know the bars of a castle is be. You can't break it. It's not an easy thing to break.
Okay.
Understand? And that is the struggle when you offend a brother. And so sometimes it'll be better to deal with it and trash it out in the right way. And that's where I come from. You know, they tell you your friend, your brother, you go to him, and that's where I come from. And I tell you the steps, the protocol. You understand? Then they bring, if you don't want to hear, you bring 2 or 3. You know what I mean? You follow the correct steps rather than you just go to offense where it become hard to repay. You understand? You do it to be reach a stage where it's hard to repay. You understand? I will tell you, it's like it's like the bars of a castle, and they're not easily broken. You understand? And not easily to repair that, right?
So like I say,
go ahead.
Even you know that in itself is extremely hard. Even with the person themselves fighting the demons that will come on them, because everything in your mind would start to play tricks on you if I were to put it that way. Instead of you go into the body saying, well, I wonder how this and I wonder how that. And that creates further problems in the body.
It do your mind to go down that state. And as you want to preserve the goodness and the excellence of brotherhood, right? Give me Proverbs 19 and 21, Baba Kusha. I'm going to hear that saying.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 19 and verse 21. There are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord that shall stand.
That's right. Understand? So the final word is the Lord alone. Understand? And jump up to 20, Baba Kusha.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 19 and verse 20. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end.
That's right. And that's who we are. We generals and captains and officers for. You understand where I'm coming from? So that in the latter end, you understand, after you get that guidance, you will be wise in the latter end. You understand? You will be better off then. You won't be worse off, right? And then you read the next word.
There are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord that shall stand.
That's right. You understand? So only your mind might think about all kind of thing or want to do all kind of thing. And that's where I come from. The because that is where we standing on the truth. And that's where I come from. And as I was saying earlier, inside this Bible, I have an answer for everything. And that's where I come from. So that is how we could ensure that we stay on the right path. Because the Bible, the scriptures is we guide. And that's where I come from. That is we generals and captains and officers using. That's we guide, right? That was what Proverbs was?
20, 19 and 20 and 21.
All right. That's no one. You know Proverbs 16 and 23 for sure.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 23.
Salakia. That's not hold on. Sorry, Salakia. Give me Proverbs 16 and 24 for sure.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 24. Pleasant words are as honeycomb, so like as honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones.
Right, you understand? And that is good for the brother. The truth. You understand? The truth of the Most High, right? Right? Will I say this? It's pleasant to what?
Pleasant to the bones.
Right? It's pleasant to the bones. You understand where I'm coming from? Right? It's something edifying, something you can learn from, something you could become, you could be wiser from. You could be a better person. You understand? You can raise yourself to a higher standard. You can gain encouragement and gain courage to fight. You understand? And become strong. Right? I jump down to verse 33, Babakisha.
Verse 33. The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of the Lord.
Right. And that is like what I was saying earlier. You understand? Although the lot is like casting a dice, right? Although the dice cast, right? The whole disposing thereof is of the Lord. Although the dice cast, the Lord in charge. So don't matter what we do, you understand? Or what we feel the outcome will be, or if we feel the outcome was we was responsible for that particular outcome. Really and truly, the Most High in charge. The Most High is in charge of all things, and the Most High seeing all things, and the angels recording all things. Understand, right? So the Most High, the Most High is in charge and watching over everything, right? So nobody doing nothing of the own vigil or although you come up with your own, devices, understand, the result, right, will be how the Most I want it, right? From there, Right? Are we to jump to 23? That's the one. Right. From there, I want to jump to go to Proverbs 3. Right? And 25 official.
Okay. The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, and verse 25.
Right? And this is coming back to courage, right? Word.
Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. For the, continue.
That's not slack, yeah. Thou shalt. Slack, yeah. Jump up to verse 20. Read back down.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 20. By his knowledge, the depths are broken up, and the cloud drop down the dew.
Right? The Most High, because the Most High understanding is beyond all man on the earth, right? Go ahead.
Okay. My son, let not them depart from thine eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion.
That's right. Go ahead.
So shall they be life unto thy soul.
That's right.
And grace to thy neck.
Right. So the wisdom and the knowledge of the Most High that go be life unto your soul and grace unto your neck. Right. Go ahead.
Okay. So shall they be life unto thy soul and grace to thy neck. Then shalt thou walk in the way safely.
That's how we walk in the way safely, because now you understand what to do and what not to do, right? That the Bible become a guide, right? Go ahead.
And thy foot shall not stumble. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid.
Thou shalt what?
Thou shalt not be afraid.
Right, and this is why this is why it is P. Right, this is how you will gain courage. Understand? Right? That way it is P, good. Right? And this is what every brother and sister had to fight for. Right? We fighting to be in right standing with the Most High. Okay. Understand? Because now you're dwelling. It said, thou shalt walk in thy way in safety, and your foot should not stumble. Understand? Right? Because now that we're following the elders in the I.S.U.P. under command John YAHANNA, understand? Now we have a guide. It can come like you have a footpath to follow. Understand? So you will experience the extreme pitfalls that other people in the world will experience, right?
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 24.
Read back verse 25 again.
Verse 25. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. For the Lord shall be thy confidence.
The Lord shall be what?
Thy confidence.
That's right. The Lord will be your confidence, right? The Lord will be that strength for you to go through whatever adversity you have to go through, right? Go ahead.
And shall keep thy foot from being taken.
And shall keep thy foot from what?
From being taken.
Go ahead.
Withhold not good from them to whom it is due. When it is in the power of thy hand, right, to do it.
So the Lord shall be your confidence and your strength and shall keep your foot from being taken, right? And that is why when you're reading the other scriptures, right? The Most High will be in charge, everything, and when in right standing with the Most High, you could have that courage. And that's where I come from, right? And that is what the strength of the brotherhood. The more brothers and sisters in right standing, the more the Most High could fight for you. You understand? Right? Continue.
Come. Say not unto thy neighbor, go and come again, and tomorrow I will give, when thou hast it by thee.
That's right. And that's where I come from. If you could do the good now, do it. And that's how don't tell them go and come again and they know you can help him. And that's where I come from. That is your people. That is your brother. And understand? You do it. You understand? Let your light shine. Right. You understand where I'm from? Right? Let the Most High be able to work through you to help your people. Go ahead. Because the Most High give you that power. Go ahead.
Okay. Devise not evil against thy neighbor.
Don't devise evil against the neighbor. Go ahead.
Seeing he dwelleth securely by thee.
Seeing what? He dwelleth securely by thee. Seeing that with his neighbors. And that's where I come from. With his neighbors, don't devise evil against him. Go ahead.
Strive not with a man without cause.
Right? Go ahead.
He have done thee no harm.
He ain't doing nothing. We are fighting him for. Right. You understand? He have no cause to strive with him. Go ahead.
Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
That is right. You understand? And we're not supposed to choose none of the oppressor with anything from this world. We're not supposed to choose none of the ways. No, we ain't picking up no culture and all them bad habits, eating guana, pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. You understand? Homosexuality, Christianity, Egyptology, Islam. Right? We're not supposed to pick up none of that. We're choosing none of the oppressor ways because we don't know all the oppressor ways leading to death, hell, and destruction. Right? Right? And from there, I want you to jump. That's November, Bakasha. Give me Proverbs. Oh, give me Psalms 139 and 8, Bakasha.
Book of Psalms, chapter 139 and verse 8. If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there.
Right, and this David, right? And this is just another scripture, right? Before we close it off, right? This is just another scripture to build the courage in the brotherhood, right? He say, if I ascend up to heaven, if I in the high parts, right, at the earth, right? He said, thou art there, meaning the Most High, right? Is there. And even if I make my bed in hell, he there. You understand? But this is the trick as we're saying, as we continue saying, that we continue to be, let the Most High be with you. And that's where I'm coming from. Let me fight to make him to be in right standing with the Most High. Right? To be righteous, to be upright. And understand to not be striving with one another. You understand? To always wanting the best, right, for one another. To always be wanting the best for your sisters, wanting the best for your brothers. You understand? Wanting we to do right in the sight of the Most High, right? And not evil. We're not laying back to devise evil for one another. And as we want to be upright and righteous, right? And want the best for we nation, and want the best for we people. You understand? Right? We want to be that example. You understand? So that when people look at we standard higher and have a better quality. You understand? So that them will be able to be encouraged, right? And want to stand up in righteousness, right? We righteousness, right? You know, in the scripture, we try to say, we righteousness must exceed the scribes and Pharisees, right? Watch out. If you watch, there are plenty songs coming out now, right? And plenty of them would be glorifying guns and killing men and all kind of strange lyrics in any songs, right?
Right.
Right, and it shows you the influence or evil on the earth. Yeah, you see all kind of homosexual movies and all kind of thing, right? And it shows the influence of the evil on the earth. And this is what had happened. We righteousness had to be more in than the evil things that happening on the face of the earth. You understand where I'm from?
Right.
So we had to become more aggressive and more harder. Understand?
Okay.
Right? To be more influential, be more out there. You understand where I'm from? We better be stronger and faster and as I said, of a higher quality.
Right.
You understand where I'm from? So that the influence of we people will be to righteousness. You understand? Instead of evilness. You understand? And that way we will be able to give we brothers and sisters that courage to step away from that hellish mind state there. You understand? Right? Or that horror they're living in, because then now through your example, right, and through your righteousness and through your uprightness, they will be able to see that example.
Right.
Understand? And be able now to see a pathway out, right? And that evil works. Understand? And they will see that you standing for truth and you're sticking with it. Understand? You're not weak at it, or you're not lazy at it. You're not lazy at it. And as I'm from, they will see the truth and the scriptures through you, exemplified through you, because your light will be shining all over anywhere you go on the earth, right? And I think we will hold it up there for now, right? So with that, we will pass the class on to priest and officer. Your card.
Okay. Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to shed, they are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry, which is a commandment. You will find this in Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3 from verse 8 to 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you will give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever you would like to give, Holy Convocation, we have the memorial blowing of trumpets, that's September the 17th. I understand we could get that in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23 from verse 24 to 25. Right? Remind Akim and Aquafiam to check on social media such as I.S.U.P.K.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, like shirts, like pants, like headband or scarf. And with that, you see a medium that Panya have put down with the right and face the east. And see the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabashamayim, Kwadash, Hayal, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwatka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Bashamayim, Natananawa, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kawawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawawatyanawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Banasaya Abol, Awashinawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Waha'ala, Wa'atapara, Walamyam, Aman.
What we said in English was, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us. Our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it. You can say now the power of the Pakak. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Babakashah, Natananawa, Akak, Arapa'a, Kalmaka'ala, Akak, Lataha, Amatazariah, Akak, Lahakwayam, Amatayam, Akak, Irakawak, Amata'ala, Lagarashan, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Wada Aman. What we said in English was Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it. We're going to say now the blessings in Hebrew. Barakata Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Wa Maka'ala, Wa Alahayam, Matazabia, Alawap Yahan, Ha Alawapyam, Asaranyam, Tazanyan Yam, Akalyal Yam, Wa Akwatyam, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Wada Aman. And the English said was bless you Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, Commander General Yahanna, generals, captains, officers, troopers, and the sisters, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it. We're going to see the I.S.U.P.K curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction, to the heathen, that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction, to the heathen, and shake loose the rich of Israel, that refuse to give to the school, force their riches, to enter into thy sanctuary, send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction, to the Edomites, and the nations, and their drug dealers, court system, prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, Skinheads, Osikomotazi, gay movement, lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Wall Street, open up the internet, and the airwaves, the cable access channel, and the radio channel. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in our way,
way.
Stand in our way.
Or try to stop us.
Try to stop us.
From broadcasting our words.
From broadcasting our words.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro.
To the earth.
To the earth.
And consume them.
And consume them.
Let the plagues.
Let the plagues.
Shake the house of the thief.
Shake the house of the thief.
And the murderer.
And the murderer.
Let YAHWH,
Michael
and Gabriel come down with a flying saucer.
Come down with a flying saucer.
And punish all the heathen.
Punish all the heathen.
That come up against us.
Come up against us.
As we speak that word.
As we speak that word.
Cause it to be known by all.
Cause it to be known by all.
That it is the angels that have done it.
It is the angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread.
Cause it to be spread.
Through the media.
Through the media.
Throughout the whole world.
Throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of YAHWH.
In the name of YAHWH.
We thank you.
Thank you. So be it. What you will say now is bless Israel. Yahweh, Bahashem, YAHWH, Barak Lenawa,
Wahabaya,
Saparium, Barak,
Rapah, Magan,
Commander General,
officers, troopers, sisters, children, Kayalwana, Barak Shariah, Kintian family, Woselan family, Ikoto family, Philip family.
Commander General
YAHANNA,
Generals, Captains,
Officers, Troopers, Sisters,
Children, I.S.U.P.K. Trinidad,
I.S.U.P.K,
the destroyer of Israel,
all the destroyer of Israel,
Yakal, Matazah,
Radab,
John family, Philip
family,
Busby family, Alexis family.
Commander YAHANNA, Generals, Captains, Officers, Troopers, Sisters, Children, all the destroyed of Israel,
all
those fighting to come to the truth, Officer Galawanan family, Officer Suwapi Alan family, Officer Makwayakan family, Officer Makako Balan family, Officer Tazawan family, Officer Yakaran family, Officer Shan family, Officer Barriatan family.
Hashem Yoshai,
Wada Aman. What we said in English was Lord, in the name of YAHWH, bless us, and Israel, and the school, bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones, in the name of YAHWH. We thank you. So be it.
Sir, men of Israel, let's give the teacher one courtesy salute. I imagine Shabbat, I imagine Barak, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai B'Katam. Let's give the sisters online a courtesy salute. I imagine Shabbat. I imagine Barak. Yahweh Shema Elatan Ba'Hashem Yahushai. Yadimata. Class dismissed.
Yeah. What's up, guys?